Hello everyone, this is Luba Carlson and we are painting late blooms. Okay, hello. So, I'm just gonna give it 1 minute to warm up and to see who's here. Say hello. Amma. Yes, put hellos in your comments. I would love to hear where you are from, where you're joining us from, and we will start in just a minute. Yeah, okay. My dog decided to come and say hi. She's she's funny. She's cute. All right, so we're painting late blooms in watercolor. I will be using this little set. It's Winsor and Newton right here. You can use any watercolor you have. Doesn't have to be anything specific. Okay, Cassie wants to say hi. You also. You're gonna have to say hi. Say hi. There you go. Okay, you're happy. Say hi. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Tammy. Welcome, girls. Hi, Linda and Virginia. Both here. Wonderful. Okay, so yeah, she's super happy for yeah. She always gets so happy after she eats. I feed her and then she's all love. Okay, watercolor. We're gonna use round brush. I promise I'm not gonna try and paint with the dog in my lap, but I'm gonna use my round brush. Okay, go. Oh my goodness, I'm a mess. I'm sorry. Okay, that happens. That happens. Drop my brush. Okay, so I have a round brush number 6 right here. You can use anything bigger or smaller. Try and play with them and see what you like to use, okay? So I think I'm gonna stick to this one, or I might try this one. That says number 5, but it's obviously bigger than number 6. It all depends on the brand, okay? So use what you have. Hi, Deanne, welcome. Okay, so what else? I'm going to be working on watercolor paper. I have a dirty water jar, and I have a clean water jar, and paper towels. And I really like using it's what's called Corel. It's a Corel plate, dinner plate, and I use it for my palette for watercolors because it cleans nice and it doesn't stain. So this is my favorite palette. Okay, so let's just get to it. I'm gonna change this directly so that it's just my desk. There we go. And you guys can see what I'm doing. So first of all, let's warm up a little bit. So just kind of move your fingers. That's not the best angle for that, but it's the best angle to show what I'm gonna do. So just kind of warm up your hands, move your hands around, maybe like in a fist or something. Move. Okay, just warm up your hands a little bit. And we're gonna work on a couple of strokes before we're gonna start painting the blooms, because I want to make sure that everybody here knows what we're doing. So in the comments, let me know who, like, if you're a complete beginner with watercolor, if you kind of know what you're doing, if if you're just here because, because like you know what you're doing exactly and you just need wanted company or something like that. Let me know. Okay. So in watercolor, there's 2 techniques that people usually use, and then there is more. But just to start with, there is a wet on dry technique and a wet on wet technique. Okay. So also with watercolor, you do not usually paint directly from your cakes. You mix your color with water, which is why it's called watercolor, right? And then you use that. So you create little wells of water. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a small puddle of water right here on my plate. I'm gonna pick up some, what's it called? Alizarin Crimson Hue, just on my brush. and mix it into that water. And this is what I'm gonna use. This is plenty for what I need to show you. I'm gonna wipe my brush on the paper towel and then rinse it in dirty water and then wipe and then go into clean water. And so let's grab some paint, okay, and just draw a line. Just paint a line on your paper. And this is painting wet on dry. We use a very light hand and just paint. This is your scrap paper, yes, just for practice, okay? And then we're gonna try and apply pressure to your brush and drag it as far as we can and see how far it goes. Yeah, maybe not so far. So that we can see how the brush works. Okay, so this is our wet on dry. To do wet on wet, you're gonna clean your brush and grab some clean water, and you fill it the shape, like whatever shape you're gonna paint. So I usually just do the circle to make this easier. And then, so I painted the circle with water, and then I just add paint to it, and my water blooms. See this? Yeah. See how the color blooms? And if I just grab some paint directly from the cake, just to make it brighter so that you can see how it moves. So this makes a bloom, right? And this is wet on wet. We will be doing both wet on wet and wet on dry today. So I just want you to see how this is done. I'm going to grab a little bit more of this alizarin crimson hue. And I'm going to show you real quick how we're going to create petals. So our petals are going to be, it's just a varied pressure of your brush. So you're going to start dragging your brush in the direction you want the petal to go. And you're going to start with low pressure, and then you're going to apply a lot of pressure, and then you're going to go up back to low pressure. Okay? And just create a little petal. Gian said that she just started in February. Well, wow. Right? Again, different directions, low pressure, high pressure, low pressure. Okay. And so for our flower, for the red flowers, we're going to, let's rinse, grab some clean water, grab a pot, make a little puddle, get some of this cadmium red, pale hue it's called. It looks orange to me, but So the method, the technique is going to be that we're going to grab some of this crimson, alizarin crimson, and you're going to paint your petal, and then you're going to grab some of this cadmium red and just put it right on top of it. And it will create an interesting petal. Okay? So let me know if you have any questions with this. Then we'll have a petal that is shaped like a teardrop, which is going to be high pressure right away, high pressure and then drag and low pressure, high pressure, drag, low pressure. And I suggest everybody who's here just play with this. Okay? Now, for those who will watch this on replay, let me know that you're watching replay in the comments. So play with your brush and play with your petals and figure out how you're going to do them. Because with watercolor, this is the only way. Like, it doesn't matter. Practice is the only way. You have to try it. Have to try it, have to add some color to it and see what happens. right? So I'm just mixing, adding colors. So now I have this is dry, and I'm just adding some more color right on top of it and seeing what's going to happen. Okay, so this is really not hard at all, but again, it really makes sense to have this practice. And then go back again and try and draw a line with like varying pressures. Go low pressure, high pressure, just so that you get the feel, so that your hand, see what happens? So that your hand knows what to do. Yeah? And then let's say you want a very thin line, so you will need to just use the tip of the brush and paint a super thin line. So this is a good warm-up, and this is a good practice. Okay, so I think we're warmed up just fine. I'm gonna wipe off my brush. I think I'm gonna switch to a bit larger size. I'm switching to size 8. To compare, I was using the smaller one, and now I'm switching to a larger one. I think that's what I need to make those petals the right size. Let's see, let's add some water. Let's grab some paint. And yes, and that makes just the right size of the petal, just the right size, just what I want. And I can add some color to it so you can see what's happening. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so I'm going to put this two back. This goes away. Okay, this comes. So this is a block of watercolor paper. It's glued on all 4 sides. So if you have a block, you do not need to pull off watercolor paper. If your watercolor paper is loose, like on 3 sides, you can use a paper clip or a binder clip to attach so that it doesn't buckle too much, okay? Because there will be water in this, so like we don't want to put too much water in it. Okay, so let's talk composition real quick. It really doesn't matter. It's just fun. So we're gonna have 3 large red, I'm gonna call them cosmos. I don't know. Hi Kim, welcome. So 3 large red ones, then the medium ones are the blue ones, then there is 4 small ones, and for the smaller ones I'll change the size of my brush. Yep, and then we'll do the little vine here and a little vine here, and then we'll do the little stems and everything else. But the composition is we're gonna start with the 3, and you see how they kind of make a triangle. See this? Okay, hi Cindy. Gonna paint at a later date, that's fine. Yes, so see how they kind of shape a triangle, and the triangle kind of sits in the middle of your whole painting. So that's what we're gonna do. Oh, and another thing that you need to pay attention to is that please note that the flowers, they are not round in shape, they're oval. And the center of the flower is closer to one side of the oval. So you're gonna have longer petals and then shorter petals. Okay, so those petals are all, they're not the same size. Okay, so you're gonna have, we'll start up on the top and we'll make longer petals, 4 of them or 5 of them, and then the other 3 are gonna be shorter. All right, make them loose. Do not worry too much about this. Just make sure that you have a whole lot of paint in your brush, and you can just make sure your paint flows. Because if If it's too dry, that means that you need to add more water to your paint and to your brush. Okay, so let's put more water in my palette. I'm gonna drop some in my paint so that I can just pick up some paint. Okay, so that I am guilty of painting out of my cakes a lot because I really like intense color. But I figured since I'm teaching a class, I'm going to teach you guys how to do the right thing. Right? And be aware that watercolor always dries less bright, right? It becomes paler. It dries pale. So kind of be aware of that. That's why I'm making my water super bright. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze this. Just love this, doing this on the plate, because you can do this. Whoa, forgot the clean water, dirty water. That's okay. Okay, so I watched this. I don't remember her name, but she is a watercolorist in very high demand. And she was doing a class, and so I watched her, and she was saying that it really doesn't matter if you're using clean water and dirty water in like her style of work, because her colors were so saturated that it really didn't matter. So I guess everybody does it the way they do it, right? Artsy says, just watching, doing homework. Thanks for doing this. You are very welcome. Very, very welcome. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So we have a triangle of flowers right here. Yeah. And if you need to put like a tiny, tiny dot with a hard pencil, do it. But once you put watercolor on top of your pencil, you cannot erase it. So just be aware of that. Right? All right. So let's grab some of this alizarin. I always call it bright pink. I don't know. Red. And let's put the first petal in. Nerve-wracking, right? White paper. Oh, what am I doing? The first petal. And then the second. We're aiming for 8. 2. And maybe try and make them, don't let them touch each other. 3. Maybe at the bend. 4. You can bend them. Remember, light pressure, heavy pressure. 5. See, they're becoming smaller, and I connected them. Now they're going to bleed into each other. That's okay. 5. I have 5. That was 6. 7. And 8. So 6, 7, and 8 are tiny. Wipe my brush, clean it, and now I'm gonna grab some of this cadmium red, which really looks like orange to me. And this is all wet, so I'm just gonna add by touching with my brush. I'm just gonna touch it in places and let the paint do the work. Let it move around. Don't rub your brush on it. Just let it do the work. If you have puddles, wipe your brush on the paper towel and then use your brush to lift your puddles if there's too much of something. If you hear some weird noises, it's my puppy playing with her toys. So I apologize if those noises are distracting. Okay, so at this point, what I like to do is I like to see if this is not bright enough. And to me, it's not. So against what I just told you, right? I'm just going to use my brush and just use the tip of my brush and grab some paint directly from the cake, which is wet, and maybe just add a little bit more of bright color to these petals. Just play with this, yeah? Let it move. I know it's hard to play with something if it's your first time doing something, but like be very gentle on your hand and just go pat, pat, pat. Don't feel like it needs to look like anything just yet. Maybe not. Okay? And so now I'm going to connect them all, just going back from the center out because I want them all connected. There. And we have number one. Now from this one, we go down to the left, maybe not as close to the edge. So maybe somewhere around here. I'm gonna grab again, fill up the brush with my paint and maybe turn my paper a little bit so I'm more comfortable. Yeah, don't be afraid to turn your paper, and this is not gonna look the same as the reference, but we'll just make it happen, right? And so again, light touch, heavy touch, light touch, bring it together. And again, that's 3. And we're aiming for 8. 4. Remember that, like, as we get to 5, we're gonna start making them smaller. So they're getting smaller now. Smaller 6. Smaller 7. And a small 8. Okay. Clean my brush. Get my crimson. Add that. Here and there, I want a variety of color. If you have any questions whatsoever, pop them in the comments. And I've also been told that on YouTube it's customary to ask people to like your video and subscribe to your channel. So that's what I'm doing. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. This will help me grow. And if I can grow, I can do more free content for you guys. Okay, so I am connecting my petals in the middle, in the center, going into my cake pan for that alizarin crimson hue that I have, adding some more to the side somewhere, just to add a little bit of interest to these petals, so that they are not, what do you call this? Bland, right? Because we want them a little bit brighter. Watercolor is capricious. You really have to let it do its own thing. We don't let it do its own thing, it just doesn't look right. Okay, 1, 2, 3, right here. And I'm gonna turn, now look, so the first two, the large petals are pointing to the left side. This third one, we're gonna point it that way to the right side. So the large petals are gonna go that way. I'm gonna turn this around and grab my paint, find my spot, right? And just go for it. And you can make those petals a little bit longer if you wanted to. You know what? I want to. Maybe a little bit more separated, just for the fun of it. 3, 4. And then the rest of them I'm going to connect. That's to the side. 5, 6. I have 2 left. 7 and 8. Connect, 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 connect. Okay. Clean your brush. Move to crimson. And just add it. Just like that. Oh my goodness, that doesn't. What is she doing? Yes, leave it. She found a way to destroy her ball. Okay. Too much water. You can always lift it with your brush. Just wipe it off on a paper towel and lift it with your brush. And you can always go back and grab some more of alizarin. And I think I need some more water on this. And just add a little bit more of this tone. There. Okay? All right. Put in the comments if you're done with the 3 flowers or if you're done with the 2. Put in the comments how you're doing so that I know how to pace it. If I can go faster, let me know if I can go faster. If I need to slow down, also let me know. Although I don't know if I could slow down. I'm going to grab a sip of water. Cindy says I'm finished, but they look funny. You know what? I think mine look funny also. They look pretty funny. But they will look much better after you add your black outline. Do you understand? Okay. All right. So I'm going to switch to the smaller, grab my smaller brush. Yeah. So I was working with this one, the big one, and now I'm going to switch to the smaller one. So the big one was number 8, and this one's number 5. And let's pull this up quick. So we had the big ones in the triangle, right? And then the little ones on the top, they're also kind of shaping the triangle above the top of one of the big ones, okay? So we're gonna add 3 small ones over here on the top and then 1 tiny over here. So they're all kind of roughly the same size, 4 of them. So let's do that. Same way, all the same technique. Just pick a spot and somewhere here and just go for it. Go for it. 2, again, 8 petals. 2, 3. I'm gonna grab some more color for this. It's too pale. There. Now we're talking. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And then rinse your brush. Let's grab some of this cadmium red. You can just dot it in the middle. Okay. Just move it around. D, it's I'm not sure. Is this what you're asking me? Windsor Newton. Is that what you're asking me? I'm not sure. Okay. Let's do the other one. Can you guys hear my boys scuffling? I need to know. Can you hear my boys scuffling? Because if you can, then I need to yell at them to stop. And if you cannot, then I need to stop stressing out. Okay. 1, 2. The second one I'm doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. And then moving into smaller ones. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Okay, Cindy, thank you. I try to remember to be quiet when I'm doing lives or filming, but sometimes it's above their abilities. Jen says not hearing anything. Okay, perfect. Okay, local highlights talk show. That's what I have for your name. Please do not go faster. Okay, I'm not going faster. I'm trying to keep the same pace. It's just it goes a little bit faster because the flowers are much smaller. The method is all the same. Okay, so then we're going to add one right here, which is again your first petal, and you can drag it a little bit longer if you wanted to. Second, third, 3, 4, okay, 5 smaller, 6 smaller, 7, 8. Okay, cleaning the brush. Excuse me. Adding some cadmium red. It's wet and wet, so I'm just dropping a good amount of cadmium red right in the middle, and it spreads. See how it spread over this one and this one? It just takes over all the wetness. Now you do not want to move your watercolor paper as I just did, because I almost caused some runs, and that would be awful because you cannot clean this up. You just have to start over. Okay, no pressure, right? No pressure. Okay, so I have three here, the big ones, three tiny ones, and now I need one tiny over at the bottom underneath this baby over here, somewhere here. Yep, I'm gonna put, oh, another one. So just grabbing some paint. Maybe I'm going the first petal. Pretty much the first petal tells you the size of the flower you're gonna make, like this way. I have Cosmo flowers in my garden, and they were just like looking like ferns, and I even complained about it, I think, in one of the videos, because I was thinking, why are they not blooming? And they did not bloom until the other day we had the first frost, which killed my tomatoes, which is fine, and my Cosmos blooming like gorgeous purple and everything, and it's all covered in flower buds. And now I'm thinking, really, like middle of October, now you decided to bloom? Okay, so I have 6, 7, 8. So I really did not expect that flower to bloom so late, but it did, and it's blooming right now. Okay, grabbing some of this cadmium red, adding it to the middle, and leaving it be. Let it spread. Let it move. Let it do your thing. Or not your thing. Let it do its thing. Okay? Clean your brush. So we're pretty much done with the reds. If you have on your palette, if you have room, look, all of this is not waste. Okay? You can use it over and over. Just let it dry, and then like you can revive it with some water, and you can still use all of these colors. It's like the best colors happen when you use the same palette for a while, and then you start creating the like very interesting mixes of color. Okay, so I'm gonna create a puddle for my blue, and I'm using ultramarine here for the blue roses. So I'm just gonna grab some, mix it in here. Some more. Yes. So we want a good color. We want to have good color with this. And we're going to be painting this. So the way I like to do them, I like to do wet and dry. And then on top of it, I add wet on wet. Okay? So, okay. And so roses, let me show you. Like, you can make this very complicated and try and paint the way you're supposed to paint it. We're not going to go there. Okay, we're just making abstract flowers here. We're just painting abstract. So again, what we need to note is that they are not round. They're kind of oval, an overall shape, right? They're oval, and it's not. They're not just paint. You don't just paint an oval blue. There is a lot of strokes that combine that oval. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna pull up my practice paper real quick and just show you on a larger scale, because sometimes when you see it, it's easier to understand, right? So I'm using the large one here for to show you, but on my painting, I'm gonna use the smaller brush. So again, round brush. Here's my blue. Okay, and I'm just gonna use shapes like this. I'm gonna get some more color on it so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And just move around until I have a shape that I like, something like that. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and pick up some color directly from the cake and just add some brighter blue to some of the areas. Okay, so do not overthink it. Again, just fill up, just fill up an oval shape and leave some white around, just like that. Okay, the key is to not overthink. Don't overthink it. It's supposed to be relaxing and fun. I hope you're relaxing and I hope you're having fun. Okay, cleaning my brush. All right, so let me show you the reference again. So we have one rose in between the small ones on the top. One rose goes right in between this little triangle. See it? Yeah. And one rose goes on the other side. That's it. Three roses. They also kind of make a triangle because there's three of them. I think I put this flower a little bit too high. There's not much room for a rose over here. So I'll think of something. I'm gonna start with the one up here. Let's put one up here in between the two. Just push your brush and make a letter C. And then turn that letter C around. This way, that way, just turn it around. Make it an oval shape. And try not to touch the other flower. Okay? Leave some white. Then grab some ultramarine blue directly from your cake. And just go ahead and add some deeper color to some areas. Okay? Just a little bit. Don't overwhelm it. If you overwhelm it, then it's all going to just become darker blue with no interest. All that. Okay? Now let's do, I'm going to make one right here in this spot. And again, I start with the letter C. Just push your brush down and do the letter C. And then you can do like the reverse one, upside down. And just go around it. And even if they can connect to each other, that's fine. I'm running out of paint because I used a large brush. There we go. So I am aiming to make it an oval. Here we are. It's fine. Grab some from the cake, wet and wet. And you know what? We're just gonna do one layer, but like if you keep playing with watercolor, you will learn that you can layer on top of it and add more to it. So I think there's a lot of white, so I'm gonna add just a couple of blue streaks in there just to do that. Okay. Let me see. Yes, so I need one right here, and this one is going to be rather small because I did not plan. I should have put this flower a little bit lower. That's okay. This is going to be just a small bud, right? It's not a big deal. I'm just not going to push on the brush so hard as I create this flower. You know what? It's going to fit just fine. I'm just going to make sure, I want to make sure that it's not directly on the edge of my paper. I want to leave some space here. That's fine. I'm gonna darken some areas. I like to darken the areas that look like a petal. I like to darken the bottom of them. It usually works out well, right? Okay, so I'm grabbing some more of ultramarine blue directly from the cake and going back to the first one that I painted and adding, it's still wet, I'm adding a little bit more of blue to it because I am starting to see that it's drying and it's becoming super pale. I want it a little bit more intense. And then the second one also, just add wet on wet, okay? So just super carefully add a little bit. Again, don't overthink it. Just have fun with it. It's all good. Just trying to add a little bit more color. On the other hand, if you prefer very pastel colors, then maybe just leave it like this. Okay? Okay, clean my brush because I'm going to show you the next thing. So the next thing is going to be that little long blue vine right here that goes from the top all the way down. And in my case, I have a rose right here on the way, right? So I will have to jump over. So I'll have to start here, get all the way to this flower, and then jump over and go down, okay? And that's okay. Or if you have room and you can fill it in, then just fill it in. So we're gonna have two of those, one, and then on the other side, there is the other one right here. So this is very pale blue. So I'm still with my ultramarine blue. I'm gonna add some water, couple more drops to make it pale. Very like quite watery. It is quite watery. And with the vine, I'm gonna start at the top and move down. And I'm gonna start with the top petal, just push it down, push and lift. That's all you need. Push and lift. Check your color if that's what you like. Maybe you would like to add a little bit of pink to this. You know what? I'm thinking that I might want to add a little bit of this, what's it called? Alizarin right into here. Gonna mute down the blue a little bit. Just a little bit. You don't need much. Okay. And again, touch. Yes, I like that. And then I'm just gonna do more of these and move it down and go. And one and two and move. And you might want to put them a little bit closer to each other at some point, like this. See, so they're almost, maybe I can put one more here. Yep. And then I'm going to jump over the flower. And so that will make it look like the flower is in front of this vine. And keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep going down. Make sure that it's fluid, right? Not just a straight line. So kind of help it move. Just like that. And the last one. And of course you can add more than two if you would like to add more than two, of course. Okay, and I'm gonna add Let me see. Yes, I'm gonna add one more right here. Going through here. You turn my paper. Work around the flower. Whoa, okay, that's fine. Work around the flower. And just bring it down. If you would like your leaves a little bit larger, you can go back and kind of add, in some spots, you can add some definitions to them, or you can even make them darker by mixing a little bit more red and a little bit more of crimson, right? Crimson, alizarin crimson, yeah. And you can just go back and touch up the ones that are still wet. The ones that are dry, they won't move, so you will have to do the whole thing over. So like this one is dry, so I'll have to just put it on top. Paint won't move on that. But like if you add a little bit of color to some of these leaves, they will look better after we finish the whole painting. All right. Okay. Now for the background, and I know it might seem kind of counterproductive, right? But next is the background. And for the background, we're going to need to mix a whole lot of green. And I'm going to use sap green. And I'm going to add a little bit of lemon yellow hue to that. And we're going to need a whole lot because, well, depending on the paper that you're using. I know that my paper soaks up a lot. It will take a whole lot to do the background. But it doesn't need to be super dark. So it will be watery. So I'm just using sap green in my brush, clean water, grab some of this lemon yellow hue. That should be plenty. Yeah, it just added a little bit of happiness to this. And we're gonna do wet and dry. And we're gonna be very careful going around the leaves and everything. But even if you touch something, just maybe try not to touch the blue ones because the blue ones are still wet, right? So I just start in the corner like this, and I start bringing this in. Grab more, and I overlap. So I avoid moving the brush like this, back and forth. It's more of a pat, 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 and just moving the watercolor gently, making it go where I want it to go, using the tip of my brush a lot when I am around something. And when I'm painting around leaves and flowers, I am okay with leaving some white space around it, because if you get too close to something with your wet watercolor, your watercolor might bleed and you do not want that. Yeah. So it's okay to leave some white space around your flower, which is what I'm doing right here. Also, it's okay to leave some white spots in your green. I don't know if you can see it because it's all glare. It's all white and, shiny. But I have some spots I don't know how to show you, but it's right here. Like I'm leaving some spots white, not a lot, but they're gonna be like your highlights here in the light. It's gonna be your light. So don't feel like you have to paint the whole thing flat. So yeah, this is kind of um, tedious a little bit, right? But also super relaxing because all you're doing is putting green on here. That's all you need. And you kind of have to stick to the smaller brush because it will be much harder to move around all these flowers with a larger one. So yeah, just keep going. And sometimes I would take more green and I would go back to some spots that already have green, and then that creates variation of green, which is also interesting. It's gonna look funky a little bit because we haven't defined anything. We're just pretty much creating color spots, right? Just keep going. There's nothing to explain, so I am quiet. Unless I see some questions, I'm just quietly coloring in background. Just like that. Okay, I'm running out of paint here. I'm gonna add some more green and lemon yellow. Sap green. Mhm. Here's my lemon yellow. There's a lot of lemon yellow. Okay, good. Let's see, color check. Yep, works. Just keep going. Yeah. Mm, yes, you can put that. They want pie. Okay. Okay, here we go. Kind of getting there, right? Are you guys getting there? So for those of you, if you already finished the background, who knows, maybe you have. You want to check if you have any puddling. And so if you have any puddles, you want to take care of them. Like I showed you by drying your brush a little bit on the paper towel, right? And then taking care of those puddles. And then when you have no puddles, you can use a blow dryer to dry this up, because next step is going to be, I'm out of paint again. Next step is going to be outlining, and you're gonna want to use a micron pen, like a waterproof pen for outlining, or you might want to use a Sharpie, but whatever you're using, right, you're still gonna want to make sure that your paper is dry when you're doing that. You do not want to do that on wet paper. Or maybe, if you don't have a blow dryer, maybe, I don't know, hold it next to a fan or something. Just help it dry faster. And it all depends on the quality of the paper you're using. Some watercolor paper would dry faster than other. Oh, you know what? I'm taking that back. We need to add stems before we do. But you can still dry it before you add stems. You need to dry it, because if you add stems on top of your wet paper, it's going to be wet on wet, and it's going to be running. Like, your stems are not going to be crisp like you want them to be. You know what I did? I turned my flower the wrong way here. So my stem's gonna face a different way, because otherwise it's not gonna make any sense. Oh well. Ooh, I thought I would try watercolor painting tonight. First time outside of Crayola water paints with the kids. Ooh, wow. Got a set of watercolors in tubs and brushes, and I'm using my Canton Next Media paper. Okay. Paper smaller. Cindy's done with the background. Cheryl, okay, I keep looking. What? Okay, so Cheryl is saying that this is different from painting with acrylics, because with acrylics you usually start with your background, right? And you can layer things differently. But watercolor, I agree. Watercolor is so transparent that you cannot just layer, right? I cannot just paint green on top of the red and expect something good to happen out of it. Nothing good is going to happen out of it. So nothing good's going to come up like that. I'm just adding a little bit more color. Like, but you can build up color like what I'm doing here with the background a little bit, right? And we did it with the flowers a little bit, but it's different from watercolor. Okay, so my background is done. I'm gonna try, I don't know if I can, but I'm gonna try and mute. Let me see if I, yes, I can. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna mute for just a minute and I'm gonna run the blow dryer because I do not want to run the blow dryer because it's right next to the camera. Okay, I don't want to make you deaf. Okay, hold on. All right. I don't know if you noticed that, but as soon as I dried it up with the blow dryer, the colors got much more muted. Like my flowers are not as bright anymore. Did you notice that? All right, let's add the stems. So we're gonna add green stems to the red flowers and the blue roses. Okay, and I am just gonna use green, sap green, and grab a whole lot. The trick with that is to not have your paintbrush dripping. So you kind of want good color. If you have a smaller size brush, this could be a good time to switch if you're not comfortable making a thin line, okay? And then we're just gonna use this and paint thin line from the flower going down, maybe hop over the rose and just bring it down. Just make it an organic line. Don't think that, like, make them alive, kind of. Okay. So here's the rose. I'm gonna take this one right here. Kind of makes sense. Let's see this flower right here. This one on the top. So I'm just going, one after another. So this dude over here can just go right in here. Mhm. This one, it's supposed to be connected to over here, right? But because I don't know what I was thinking, but I turned it wrong. So this baby's gonna go this way. It just happens sometimes. Okay, this baby goes a little bit under the rose and will somewhere here. This one I'm just gonna connect to the other one right here. Yeah, just connect them. And then this rose needs a stem. And there it goes, right here. And of course, this one over here, the last one, it's a stem that will go right through here. So Cheryl's asking me what I think about using mixed media for watercolor painting. You know what? This is watercolor paper. This is mixed media paper. But I do not like Kinson for mixed media as a watercolor paper. I really like this one. This is a Strathmore Visual Journal mixed media. Um, so I really like this one. I am on my second book of this one, and I think I just ordered the third one. I really like this paper. It takes acrylics and watercolor, and I've been doing hand lettering with colored pencils and watercolor also, and the micron pens. Um, Strathmore Mixed Media Visual Journal. It's like the best paper, I think, for for exercise kind of thing. But if you're making a present, uh, might as well paint on watercolor paper. But I am all for practicing on cheaper paper and then doing the thing on more expensive paper. So, okay, let me mute again. I'm gonna try this again. Okay, and I also think that a lot depends on what you're looking for, what you're gonna make, because I am definitely not a super awesome watercolorist. I do not do botanicals, I do not do landscapes. But my watercolor is kind of it looks like this. That's what I love to do. It's like that, and let me see. I'm picking out my micron that I'm gonna be using for this. Yeah, I'm trying to decide. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna put this away so that I don't knock it off. Just a tip. I don't know if this is valid for where you are. I always let my watercolors dry out before closing them, because I've had cases where they got moldy. There's something in the water or in the air. So it's just something that I do. I don't know if it has any value to, where you live, but maybe. Okay, so let's start doodling. Doodle time. Let's warm up. The easiest way to warm up is these. They might not look like the easiest, but they are the easiest to warm up. So you are just going to start at the top, and we're going to do tear shape going from the bottom and around like this. Okay, and they do not need to be perfect. Some of them can be not finished like this. See, and some of them can be maybe a little bit sharper, pointed if you wanted them to be. But that's all you're doing. You're just going around and circling, not circling, more like tracing these. And when they overlap, you can let them overlap. Okay, so do that. And this kind of takes the fear off, like you kind of, oh my God, what am I gonna do, right? Where I'm gonna start? What's happening? This kind of shows you that you cannot mess this up. You really can't. It's gonna look great. And just keep going all the way down. Okay. And then now that we're at the bottom, we're gonna move back up and add the line where it's all holding on. The line does not to be attached to every leaf, okay? And it's okay to use sketchy kind of lines, kind of shorter and lift and move on, but try not to go like this, like back and forth. Don't do the back and forth. Go one and lift, and then another lift, and then move again, and then lift, and then here, here, and here. Yeah, again, don't overthink it. Now let's do the other one. Again, the same shape, teardrop, or if you wanted a different shape, you're more than welcome to. So here, when your leaves kind of overlap, yeah, I decide which leaf is on top and which one is on the bottom. And then the one that sits on top gets to be traced first. So I trace this one first. And then this leaf is peeking out from under it. And so then I trace the other one. Okay. Here's another one. This one sits okay, but like these guys are overlapping a little bit. So I'm gonna do this sits on top. And then this dude kind of is behind it. And here's another, and the last one. And also I'm gonna do connections, just connect them, put them on the stem. Another thing that you can do that I haven't done in my in the reference, but if you wanted to, you can go back and just add a curvy vein or whatever middle for the leaf. This way your leaf is a little bit more defined. Just make sure that this line is not straight. It needs to be curved because your leaves are natural, right? And nothing in nature. There's no straight lines in nature. No straight lines, no geometrical circles, no squares, and all of that. Okay? Now we're gonna go ahead and add middles to the red flowers. And those are swirls, but they are swirls that are ovals. And you're gonna, I like to do them starting from the outside and going in. I'm gonna do the big one first so that you can see exactly how I do this. So start at the point. Let me see, can you see what I'm doing? Okay, start at the point and then I go into the oval. I do an oval, okay? And then I bring it in as a swirl like this. This way I can control exactly what's happening. Okay, let's do this flower swirl. So the stem is here. So the swirl is going to be here. And it's okay if some of it is going out of your flower. It's all good. And that one right here. Here's the stem. So the direction is going to be going this way. And then I just continue doing the same thing for the little ones. Just making sure that the direction makes sense. All right. And now we're going to outline our petals. And so with that, I kind of like to see, okay, because like you can see that it's overlapping. So just see what's overlapping and outline accordingly. So here's the petal and I'm going to use like a shaky hand. Maybe not, don't shake it like a lot, but like shaky hand. Don't feel like it needs to be super straight lines, yeah? Here we go. Just outline the petals. Let them overlap where they want to be overlapping. And then I add a little bit of veining on the inside. Just kind of, you want to make sure that direction of your veins or whatever that is the same with the direction of your petal. Okay, so like this one is pointing up to the left, so that's where I'm going to do my veining. This one is a little bit down to the left, so I'm going to let it curve a little bit. Okay. Oh, Jen, that's perfect then for this flower, shaky hands. That's perfect. There is a special style and shake in lettering where you're using your shaky hands to, to do this kind of thing, right? And like people spend time to learn to do this. So you're fine. I don't know why I'm doing this. I think I want to break from tracing the flowers. Ah, hello. Okay. And so we're going to do that for every flower. Just outline, outline. Okay. It's funny, my kid does this every single time, doesn't he? Promise you he has been fed. He's just bored. He's bored and he's waiting for us to open the door so that he can escape and go on an adventure. Which he already did, and we didn't know where he was. He was missing for 24 hours and then he came back. And it's a cat who had never left house. He is 14 years old. He's never left the house. I mean, to the vet and, stuff like that. But he's not an outside cat, so I have no idea what he did for 24 hours, where he was. But that was his thing. Okay, so do that. Okay, so while we're doing this, I'm gonna try and distract you while you're doing this because I want to invite you to my art journaling Christmas Advent art journal. Christmas Advent art journal, whatever. I'm still working on what it's called, but I want to show you before we're done because then I'll forget and then I will never show you. So I have this journal. So I'll teach you how to make a journal like this. And the signatures, which is little books. And here, all the signatures are made out of envelopes. And each envelope has a card inside. And you can pull the envelope out and mail it when you're done. So I am going to teach you how to make the journal itself. And then we're going to spend time. We're going to have prompts to fill it in, to fill in the journal with Christmas spirit and all fun. So this is going to be on YouTube and this is going to be free for everybody. I just want you to know that this is going to be available. I have not been sharing on my socials or my email yet. So this is going to be in my email probably this Sunday. I want to start working on this November 1st because I want to have a set of finished Christmas cards to mail by December. So if this is something that you might like to do, it will be a mixed media. Okay, so look over here. I'm picking petals that I want to be uh, up front, and then the others are going to be behind them. Okay. So yeah, this is going to be mixed media, and it's going to be use what you have kind of thing. I do not like, well, except for supplies, you will need to like have envelopes and stuff like that. But I do not like having to go and buy the whole store to be able to do something. So I really like to use what I have. Okay. So yeah, I'm thinking starting November 1st, we'll be doing that. Sounds fun, right, Cindy? That's what I thought. I think it probably is the creator, like an online creator thing because I do videos and I teach classes. And to me, fall painting started in like August, you know? So like I'm over it. I just want Christmas, I want snowmen and mittens and hot chocolate and all of that in my art. That's what I want to work on. So I guess that's why I'm pushing it closer. I was gonna do the whole thing. I was gonna do start in December, but I can't wait. Um, I just really want this to happen. So this is what it's gonna be. Okay, one more red on the bottom. Okay, okay, almost there, right? Almost there. So for roses, I'm gonna show you here on my practice paper because it's much bigger and I can do it, you know, much bigger size. And it's really simple. So what I do is I pick the center and I start with a triangle like this, okay? And then I just extend the triangle and touch the corners, and then I keep moving around and try to get a touch somewhere. Like keep growing and just touch at some points. Just keep growing, keep growing, keep growing, and then at some point, okay, I'm good. Maybe I would go like back here and maybe like add a couple more petals over here. And that's a rose. Okay. Let me know if you need me to repeat it. So I'm just gonna do one right here. Start with a triangle and just keep growing. Like don't think that it needs to be any certain way. Just keep the lines kind of wavy and keep moving it around until you fill in the shape. You're done. You have a rose. And another one. And sometimes I would start with like a tear shape or some other shape, but triangle never fails me. And always, you can always start a rose with a triangle. Okay, and the last one. And I just said tear shape, and my hand just did the tear shape, even though I was going to do a triangle. Okay, maybe here. Excuse me. Okay, adding black to the stems to kind of add some more definition. Okay, don't be super careful with it. Just go fast. Just add it. Don't feel like it has to be fancy. It doesn't need to be fancy. Okay, and I really like signing mine on like stamps. So that's how I do it. It's kind of there, but it's not kind of in the way. And this concludes our lesson, right? Like we were working, and then whoops, and all of a sudden we're all done. Super fast, right? It was going and super slow, and then it went super fast. Okay, so this is it. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you had fun. Yeah, make sure to like the video if you enjoyed this lesson. Subscribe to my channel. You can always go to my website if you haven't done that yet. Where is it? Shameless plug, right? Shameless plug. Just go to lubacarlson.com. You don't have to go to shop. But if you go to lubacarlson.com, you can, a pop-up will show and you can join my newsletter. And if you would like to buy me a coffee, I would really appreciate it. It allows me to pay for my supplies pretty much. Buy me a coffee, pays for my supplies so that I can do more free classes for you. Okay, and I will have another class some next time. And what else? What else do I always tell you? Oh, yes, if you're in my group, please take a picture of your painting and share it in the group. I would love, love, love to see what you created. Okay, see you next time. Bye.